but if you actually take action, it can make a difference. I hope you'll stay until the end. We're going to give away 3 $20 Amazon gift cards to those who are live if you stick around. We'll provide the downloads that you can use to reduce your off Amazon spend. And we will have a special offer full of fancy bonuses to join our Author Ad School Unlimited program. But first, why did we go into this? Why Amazon ads? How did we even get into helping people? I have written 30 plus books, sold over 150,000 copies, but I decided back in 2016 I was going to focus almost all my attention on authors and teaching. We started writing book descriptions for the author community. We wrote thousands of them. We've now written over 6,000. But the authors who we wrote these blurbs for, they struggled to know when the blurb was actually helping them. And I realized after doing some deep digging, Amazon ads were the answer to helping people figure this out. So I started a podcast where I shared my own ad results. And then later on, we started the Author Ad School course where I taught authors how to effectively run ads to grow profit. We launched a big challenge, often imitated, never duplicated. We launched the 5-day Author Ad Profit Challenge, which has taught over 30,000 authors how to run ads. Some authors who followed us through with the challenge and then ad school, like LJ Andrews, David Penny, KG Royce, were able to take that data and those ads to make very profitable full-time author careers. And Amazon saw our challenge, and actually I've now run ads for Amazon or run webinars for Amazon. Quinn Ward and I from the team, they sent us to Seattle to meet with the ad team. And we started our own agency to run Amazon ads in late 2022, helping authors launch into the top 10 of the Kindle store to have $100,000 plus months. Our biggest achievement to date that happened this year was we were able to help a student have a $1 million month. But look, no matter how much success we have with our top 1% of authors, we continue to educate authors through our free webinars just like this one. We love providing our Author Ad School students with up to 5 live sessions with our experts every single week. Every week, for real, in an effort to create new success stories in self-publishing. I am certain that someone in this room is going to be one of those success stories, and I'm excited to share today's info with you. So what is the Author Ad School formula I keep talking about that has helped some authors to become full-time authors? So first, we set up 3 main ad types over on the Amazon ad platform. This is the sponsored product auto ads, sponsored product keyword ads, sponsored product category ads. And we do this for each of our series starters, each of our book ones, or each of our standalones. We start with a 39-cent bid and a $5 daily budget. Our goal with each book is to get 100 clicks. Because once we get 100 clicks across all the ads for that one book, and you will run more than one ad for every single book that is a series starter or a standalone, that 100 clicks is going to give us some important data. And that data is going to allow us to figure out, is it profitable and how well does it convert? How many clicks does it take for someone to actually go buy? So in profit, we don't recommend just looking at the Amazon ad dashboard. The stats are bad. The tracking is worse. We just need to know, well, how many royalties did we get? So we go over to Kindle Direct Publishing to get that amount. And then we subtract how much we spent on the Amazon ad dashboard. That gives us profit. This is the secret sauce. This bullet in this webinar is the secret sauce. Authors who are not willing to go with me on this, they're like, well, Bryan, the ad looks bad. And I say, okay, but you're going to have to go with me on this. If they say no, there goes the opportunity to scale up. This one is pretty important, folks. Now, for figuring out conversion rate, we suggest gathering all your book sales, all your cover-to-cover Kindle Unlimited reads, and then we divide that number by the number of clicks. So this gets you the number of clicks it takes to get a sale. So this experiment, which gets us Our profit and our conversion rate for each of our series starters or standalones helps us to determine if we even have a book or series that can be profitable. And if we do have that, how to regularly spend more money on it to produce more profit. That's what this experiment is all about. 30,000 plus authors have run these experiments with our 5-day challenges. So Amazon ads are not a magic button. They're not a silver bullet. Amazon ads are not the fancy thing that is going to save everything. So let's throw all that out the window right now. What do Amazon ads do? They reveal whether or not your book in its current state can be profitable with lower bids, because we don't necessarily want to tell Amazon, hey, every time someone clicks, I want it to cost $1. That's not going to work if your book is only $3, because you're not going to get enough sales. But if we can go down to 39 cents, 40 cents, we can potentially be profitable. So the experiment is, over the course of all the ad campaigns for that one book or series, is to get 100 clicks. And that will help us know, is it profitable? How well does this book convert? It's always about splitting our screen and finding the royalties over on KDP minus our ad spend. And we can include any read-through. Book 2, book 3 sales, book 4 sales all count because they could have been related to the ad. So we test conversion just on book 1. How many ad clicks it took to get a sale of that one book. This experiment, I've had people come up to me at events. I've had people come up to me when they're speaking at an event and say, Bryan, we tried this experiment. It made all the difference. And now look at my career. It's amazing. So this experiment has revealed thousands of profitable series, thousands of profitable standalones, while also helping authors who didn't have profit figure out, hey, I might need to pivot. I might need to write something different. I'm glad Bryan told me before I wrote 25 books of my, space cozy mystery or some genre that didn't make sense. They've said, look, I'm glad that you told me this info before I went down the money pit. So here's an example of how the formula could work in action. Let's say an author runs $40 worth of ads and they get 100 clicks on a 3-book series. We're going to call this Book A. This is the whole series. We're calling it Book A. And another $40 worth of ads to get 100 clicks on a standalone book. We'll call it Book B. So we now have 2 books that we've run ads to. And when we've tested, we found that the Book A and that series earned $80 and Book B only earned $20. It's as good data to work on. We know the Book A, we made $40 in profit, and Book B, we lost $20. So what do? We look at Book B. Is there an issue here? We look at the conversion, and we find it takes 15 clicks to get a sale. This is a problem because usually profitable books take about 6 clicks or fewer to be profitable. So we know there's some kind of disconnect here. We send readers to this book. As it is, it might not lead to any profit. So based on that simple experiment, we find it makes sense for the author to focus advertising. Mostly 80% of their advertising should go to Book A because this is the fastest path to higher profit. They might even be able to spend $400 and make $800, which would lead to $400 in profit. Now, the author can mess with Book B and tweak the blurb and fix the cover to try to improve profit and conversion, but it's not a requirement, and I'll tell you why. Most 6-figure authors, if they have one book that's selling and one book that's not, they focus their attention on growing the most profitable one, and they will actually ignore the least profitable one. They focus their attention on the most profitable and they ignore the least profitable because there's just not enough time to be perfect on everything. They would rather go in the direction of what is already working. So how does this formula grow book sales? How has it grown book sales? First, you run more ads to something that's already working. this leads to an increase, short-term and potentially long-term, in book sales. Then, and this is the step almost everybody misses. Put on your listening ears, folks. This is the step almost everybody misses. When you have something that's more profitable, don't keep writing books that aren't profitable. Write books in the direction of, in the subgenre of, in the series of the profitable book. And this helps you to keep from releasing books that lose money. As you continue to write books that are closer to reader expectations, 20 to 30% closer to what readers expect, you will start to see profit rise. And from there, you can do all the other things, like set up an email sign up in the back of your book, get more people available on your email list so that you can get more reviews and that you can tell them when you have a future book launching. Eventually, you diversify. Maybe you run Facebook ads to grow your sales. Maybe you run them to grow your email list, allowing you to get more reviews every time you launch and making the Amazon ads even more effective in the process. If you have a question, throw it in the chat. I know Craig's been answering them, but throw a question in the chat. I'm going to answer a few in just a second, so go type in that question. But Tracy Hilton, Ad School alum, she had spent all of 2019 writing a bunch of books in a series that she thought was going to put her on the map. And so she was writing this series. I think I'm going to do a little cough drop here. I've been fighting off a throat thing. Anyway, she was writing this series, and she thought this was going to help her finally make it. And she released the books, and nobody bought them. It was crickets. It was not what she expected. So she took the 5-day challenge. She eventually joined Author Ad School. And she found that when she ran the experiment to Book A, her new books, and Book B, her old books actually were profitable, and her new books were not. So those first couple of months where she was running this experiment, she found, there must be something going on with the new books. I'm not going to run ads to those as much. I'm going to try to fix those up. And meanwhile, she kept running more ads to the most profitable books, kept writing more books in the more profitable series, which allowed her to continue to go up every single month from 500 to 1,000 to 1,500 and so on. And if she had never done this experiment, she would not have gone up this profit staircase. She would not have known that if she just published more books like her older books, she would have more success. So let's see. Jennifer CR, we're very happy to have you here, even if you're new to Amazon ads. Don't worry. Hopefully you'll pick up some good stuff that will be helpful for you. Karen asked, does this method only work on books that are Kindle Unlimited versus why? It works on both. Great question. We've had authors who have only paperback, so they can't even be in Kindle Unlimited, have great success with this method. We've had folks that are wide have success with this method. So I don't see any other questions, so we'll just keep on blazing through. Everyone's maybe stretch your arms, stand up, move around, get the juices going, make sure you're ready, because I'm going to keep going here. Now, a few months ago, we noticed that some authors who had profitable books that converted well, that just for months and months had converted well, had begun to see poorer results. So we did some digging. We found Amazon had been placing ads on Pinterest, BuzzFeed, Goodreads, and other websites. So we did an experiment. Some of our 2,000 plus students in our premium author ad school program found that these ads did not convert as well as the ones that were regularly on Amazon. And unfortunately, while there is no opt-out button, we looked, we have discovered multiple methods for reducing and potentially eliminating off Amazon spend. But first, there is something you can do to test if the Amazon ads you have been running are even showing up on these websites. And that is called our ad placement report. So where do you find your placement report? First, you go log into the Amazon ad dashboard, you go to measurements and reporting, and you're going to create a new report. And I'll walk you through this. I'm going to do a screen share after the next couple of slides. I'll do a screen share walking you through this whole process. So you create a new report and you say, I want it to show me the placements, and then you can have it show you the last 2 months worth of data. After you create the report, you can download it. You can open it in Microsoft Excel, Google Sheets. But honestly, here's the thing, you only really need to open it once or twice. So even if you opened it in like a preview or some weird program that lets you at least look at it briefly, you might be able to get the info you need. So you're going to go in this report. You can sort it from A to Z. You can say, I want the column for placements to go to A to Z. And then you can scroll down to see if there's anything showing up in this off Amazon column. If there is, and you're getting clicks there, then fortunately, this method will help you stop that. Any of the clicks that you've received from the off Amazon entries on the report would count toward off Amazon spend on these sites that we mentioned. Now, once you go into the report, which I'll show you how to do in a second, some authors actually found they had hundreds of dollars of off Amazon spend, which, like we said, is likely to convert worse than the spend on Amazon. If you're seeing any spend from the off Amazon placements, I'd say it's worth applying these methods that we'll describe today. But is it worth taking action if you only see impressions and no clicks, or if you don't see any off Amazon clicks at all? Amazon has really just rolled this out. It's in the US, it's in the UK, not sure it's in any other territories, but if you run ads in the US and the UK, this could happen. It has impacted hundreds of authors even after just launching this March. And so it's likely that this problem will get worse before it gets better. So I would say any author running ads, planning to run ads, consider cutting out these off Amazon placements. So let me go share my screen here because I want to show you where you can go check this out. Let's go to sharing here and let's go share in. Here we go. So here's my Amazon ad dashboard. If you've never been in one of these, it's a little create campaign button that lets you make campaigns. But I'm going to go show you where to find this report. So it looks like a graph here on the side. You see this little graph going up, measurements and reporting. Click on that. And you're going to see a column for sponsored ads reports. That's where we want to go. So I'm going to click that. So here we are in sponsored ad reports. We're going to click create report. And now we tell it, well, what kind of report do we want? I'm going to go to placements. Oh, sponsored products, we want to do that. Then we're going to go to placement. And then we can keep it with a summary, keep it with the United States. And we could go back a couple months. We could say we'll go back to the beginning of October and click save. And now you can name the report whatever you want. You can send it to an email to yourself. And then you would click run report. Once you click run report, it's going to start working on it. You go back and click at reports. It's almost instantaneous and it's already there. So you can download it and then look at it in your spreadsheet of choice. So to remind you, you go to measurements and reporting. You go to sponsored ad reports. You'll create report. Sponsored product stays the same. You go to report type, placement. You say, I'll go back as far as I can here. I think it'll only go back a maximum of 65 days. You name it, put in your email, and you run that report. So this will allow you to find out, I have way too many windows open. This will allow you to find out if you are getting off Amazon spend. Now, how do we stop it? How do we stop the spend, stop the insanity. Well, there's a couple options here. Option one, which works, we can reduce bids and we can increase how much we want to spend on Amazon placements. This is something that works. This was my first idea. Option two, they have a page that allows us to deny certain placements. It's called the deny list page. And we can actually find every single thing that every single place off Amazon that your ads could show up. You tell Amazon, I don't want it. So that's an option. And then number three is the easy way. How many of you think I'm going to recommend the easy way? You're right. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I am going to recommend the easy way, but the easy way is really a variation on number two. So I want to go through all of these because I think it's actually super interesting to learn a little bit more about how the Amazon ad dashboard works. So manual method one, which, like I said, is not going to be recommended. So you can actually go in your campaign settings and you can say, hey, I'm going to go to my targeting page and I'm going to say, Bryan says spend maybe about 40 cents, 39 cents. I'm going to tell it to spend 20 cents instead, which would reduce the number of clicks you get and reduce the number of times your ads show up. But then you can actually go and say, I'm going to go to my bid placement settings for this campaign. And I'm going to say, I want to double, I want 100% increase on top of search, which is on Amazon, product pages, which is on Amazon, and rest of search, which is on Amazon. Bid placements are super interesting. We use these all the time for our author ad agency clients who are trying to spend more on their very, very profitable books. We wouldn't recommend this for the masses, but this is the first thing we tried here because this allowed us to spend double that 20-cent bid on these on Amazon placements, so it's only going to spend 20 cents a click on the off Amazon. So you can do this individually for each campaign. We did it, and it does work. We tested it out. Experiment worked. It did reduce off Amazon ad spend significantly, but we did find it also reduced some spend on the on Amazon placements too. So it is pretty time consuming as well to do this on every single ad. It would be nice if there was a solution that worked on every single ad. And there are two solutions that work on every single ad, including manual method number two. So manual method number two is to go to your Amazon ads deny list, which is at advertising.amazon.com/deny list. If you want to do this live, folks, I recommend going and logging into your Amazon ad dashboard. Go to advertising.amazon.com first. Log in. So go log in, and then I'll post the link to go to here. So there are instructions on this deny list page. You can use the instructions to download a template of adding sites and apps and all these things where you want to say, I don't want to spend any money on these sites like Goodreads and Pinterest. And so you can go down the list, add individual sites where these ads show up and the individual app codes. What do I mean by app codes? There is actually a separate code, a numerical ID for each Apple and Android app for BuzzFeed, Pinterest, and Goodreads. So this ends up being very time consuming, it's confusing, and it's easy to mess it up. But once you finish it, you can upload the list, and if there's an error, you can try uploading it again. So here's the good thing about this method. It works on all your ads at once. As soon as you have a list uploaded to your deny list, it works on every single one of your ads, conceivably for the rest of the time. And so you can actually go to this page. I'll show it to you. That is at advertising. Let me actually make it a better URL. advertising.amazon.com/deny list. And sometimes this can be a little funky, but it does, once you're logged in, it does open to that page. Now, if you look at the instructions, it's kind of a pain. It's a very manual process. It has taken our team a couple hours to put together a list. But we did the work for you by putting together that list. So you actually don't need to do any research. We researched the list of all possible off-Amazon sites so that you don't need to. So, you go to that deny list page that I mentioned, advertising.amazon.com/deny list, and then you can go get our file. Here's our file at bestpageforward.net/save-you-time. Because that's what we're trying to do here, folks. We're trying to save you time. We want you to not have to spend hours and hours on this thing. That's why we're doing this. We're here for you. We're here for the community. So you're going to download that file. You don't need to change it or anything. You don't need to look. In fact, if you open it and change the spacing, it doesn't work anymore. So don't do that. Download the file. We've done this class multiple times, so no one's had any viruses yet, so don't worry. It's a safe file. And then you upload that list to the deny list page, and then you click save. And it says it takes about 15 minutes. Usually it takes even less. Sometimes it says there's an error. If there's an error, just refresh the page. Try it again. And then that's it. And then you're covered. And then the deny list is uploaded, and it won't use the off-Amazon placements nearly as much. So it's very important to us that we made this info available to the public, because we want to make sure that all authors use only the most effective ads when trying to promote their books. We hope this file is a helpful gift for you, and that it helps you create the most effective ads possible. So let me go share my page here. So this is the deny list page. I'll post a link once again, advertising.amazon.com/deny list. This link might not work if you are not logged in. And you'll see there's a little upload deny list button. You could go through all the info here. You can go to the learn more, find out all about it, or you could go to our page, which is bestpageforward.net/save-you-time. You'll find the little download. You click that little vertical ellipsis. Click the download. It's going to pop up a little thing, and then it's going to download it. And you have it. And then you can literally just click upload, and then you'll be able to see where the file is. And upload it. Like I said, it'll say it takes about 15 minutes. There is the occasional error. There's nothing wrong with the list, so you just have to try again. And then you have it, and then you're set. And then you've got it, which is very, very exciting, because then it's not something you have to worry about anymore. So, how does using this method help you grow your book sales? Well, when you eliminate or reduce the low converting off Amazon spend, you don't have to worry as much about things like weird placements on Pinterest. And this won't suddenly make your books profitable. Like I said, Amazon ads reveal your book. They're not a magic button. But if you are doing the experiment to gather as much good data as possible, this will help you figure out even better which of your books are worth advertising. Plus, better ads will help the right readers to find you to buy or borrow your books, which is always a good thing. And if that happens, this can increase your sales ranks and the overall profit for your author career. So, we tested this with our students first. Whenever something new happens in the author world, in the Amazon advertising world, we are letting our students know first. It's one of the benefits to being a part of Author Ad School. But as soon as we figured this out, we did our research, we did experiments, We tried manual method 1 first with a small group. Didn't end up getting as good results as we liked. Tried a new method. Sarah from our team went deep into this to figure it out. We did it, and then we shared it with our ad school students so that they could improve their chances of profitable success. Awesome. Yeah, Jennifer, happy to encourage. Philip asked, do you recommend turning off ads on other platforms before you start testing? Do you have a strategy between determining conversion between platforms? This is a great question, Philip. So, Philip, if you're running Amazon and Facebook ads at the same time, it can be really, really difficult to tell. Generally, Amazon ads work a little bit better than Facebook ads. So if you see things are improving when you start Amazon ads, it's usually a good idea to attribute some of this to the Amazon ads, and more than 50% to the Amazon ads. But if your Facebook ads are converting, I do not recommend turning them down because you don't want to lose momentum. If the Facebook ads are not converting well, if you turn them off and nothing different happens, then maybe they weren't converting all that well to begin with anyway. So the strategy I use is when we're figuring out profit, when we're figuring out conversion, and you're running Amazon and Facebook ads, you absolutely want to just include all of those ad spend and all of those clicks when you're figuring out profitability and conversion. Kim asked, what if I'm already making $1,000 to $2,000 per month on my books? I have only one series. Should I use that as a baseline and consider only profits above that? So Kim, take this for what it's worth. Every author I have talked to who uses their existing royalties as a baseline, they usually say, I don't think the Amazon ads are doing anything. And then they never do it, and then they never scale. Do you want to scale? Because if you want to scale, I would ignore your baseline and just now assume all of the sales came from the ads. Even though that's impossible, we have found that is a way better way to scale up. Karen asks, are there certain times of the year that tend to see better conversion rate than others? Look, I'm not going to lie to you. Conversion can be a little more difficult during the holidays, no question. But generally, we like to take several months worth of data so that even if we have a month that is not going so well, we're still pulling in data from previous months. Thank you, Helen G. I'm glad you liked that we gave you the file. I'm glad, and I'll even post that file again, just in case you want to use it later. We are fans of doing the work for you whenever possible. Cassie says, wow, thanks, Bryan, to you and your team. Of course, we're happy to help. Big props to Sarah from the ad squad. We would not have been able to do this without her. Let's see. Hey, Kasuza, you're back. Awesome. I have to respond to your email. Don't worry, Kasuza. If you are using Facebook in the deny list, it will not impact your Facebook ads whatsoever. This is just to prevent Amazon from putting ads for your book on Facebook. So it's Amazon running Facebook ads for you, which don't tend to convert as well as you running Facebook ads for yourself. Virginia, could conversion rate tends to be 6 clicks for every 1 sale. Great questions, my friends. You are up. You are well. You are ready. You are crushing it. Craig is going to answer more questions in between. We are going to have a Q&A at the end. And remember, we're going to give away some gift cards too. So stick around. Now, stopping the bad spend is unfortunately not enough to help you scale up book sales. Because when you run the experiment that we mentioned earlier, you reveal the book. Remember, ads are not a magic bullet. They reveal a book. You reveal the book or series that is the most profitable. You don't want to just stop off Amazon spend. You want to have more on Amazon spend. So one of the best methods we found for getting a book optimized for spending more on Amazon is to optimize your 7 KDP keyword phrases. How do we do this? We actually search them on Amazon. So if you have cozy mystery as one of your 7 KDP keyword phrases, you search that on Amazon and you see what search results come up. And you want to make sure that your books that are like yours, books that would fit on the same shelf as yours, are what show up. We want books that are like yours to show up. Yours might not show up, but we want books that are similar to yours. And so if you see books that are not similar to yours at all, that keyword phrase may need to change. Another way is to make sure that your subtitle, your book description, and your cover are all within reader expectations for your genre. How do you know what's in reader expectations of your genre? Go read in your genre. Go look at books that are selling well in your genre before you create all your marketing materials. So, not that this is a small task, but once you have optimized those 7 KDP keyword phrases, also known as your metadata, once you have optimized your book's sales page, it is time to focus your attention on scaling up the ads on your most profitable books. So the more focused that we are on spending effectively on mostly our best-selling series, the more likely we are to profit. I recommend we employ the 80-20 rule. 80% of the results come out of 20% of the effort, so we might as well spend 80% of the effort on our most profitable series, put 80% of our budget into our highest return series, because that is going to maximize profitability, and continue to write books in the direction of what is most profitable. You're going to run those ads in also your most profitable country. I was talking to an author just the other day who is in Australia, and her most profitable ads are still in the US. So she runs her ads in the US. So when you run those ads to the highest profitable country, that is good. Do not worry about being everywhere. Do not worry about being well-rounded. We want to focus more of our attention, also known as doubling down, on what is already working. Now, some of your ads, not all of your ads are necessarily going to work equally. Some of your ads may be more effective than others. It is likely that if your metadata, your 7 KDP keywords are optimized, then your auto ads will target more relevant books than your category ads, because categories, sometimes they have the wrong kind of books in there. So to make your ads even more hyper-focused, to target even better targets, most profitable targets, the best way to do this is to avoid targeting books, authors, and search terms that rarely lead to sales. How do we do this? With negative targeting. So negative targeting allows you to tell Amazon, hey, can you ignore and just never send readers from these search terms and from these book titles that are not relevant to my book? And Amazon most of the time says okay. Sometimes a few slip through, but it makes a big difference to do this negative targeting. For example, let's say you've written a young adult coming of age fantasy book. You might want to exact negative target. Exact means if someone types in the exact phrase, terms that just would not make sense as having crossover readers with your genre. So that could be epic, dark epic fantasy and cozy fantasy. Those kind of readers are not necessarily the same kind of readers. I think I scratched myself. It's getting dry here in North Carolina, so my hands are getting dry. But you want to avoid targeting things that just wouldn't have the same kind of crossover readers. You might also find, if you're negative targeting terms that are coming up often, like dark epic fantasy, like cozy fantasy, you might want to negative target the books that fit that genre that isn't a good fit for yours. So you can have Amazon ignore those books by using the Amazon numbers, also known as the ASINs, of those poorly fitting books. See, as you find search terms, as you find books that are worth negative targeting in one ad, you can keep putting them in a master list of all the books that you want to negative target, So you can combine all those targets and add them to each of the ads that you run. Over time, the good news is all this hard work, all this effort to negative target certain words and phrases and genres to your most profitable books gets you more efficient ad spend that is likely to lead to more sales for your most profitable books. So where do we find negative targets? The best place is to look at your search terms report, which shows every single thing that got a click in the last 30 to 60 days, or your search terms tab on your highest spending ad. When you see a search term that has received 20 or more clicks without a tracked sale, or without a tracked KENP, which is Kindle Edition Normalized Pages Read, also known as KU pages, Kindle Unlimited Pages. If it's not getting any tracked stuff, not getting any tracked sales or KU pages, and it's gotten 20 or more clicks, and it just doesn't sound like a very relevant term for your book, you can add this search term, any related ASINs, to your master negative target list, which you could keep in a Google Sheet or some other document on your computer. Now, it does seem tedious to gather all of these targets, but for the ads that we run for our author ad agency clients, we've actually collected 100 to 200 negative targets in some of these ads to help the ads run more effectively. So we do it, something you could do too. And by running ads to your highest profitable book, part 1, reducing your off Amazon ad spend, part 2, and utilizing negative targets, part 3, you can get the most out of your hardest working series. How does this look? Combining it all together. Let's say you start running an experiment to your paranormal cozy mystery series and your small town romance series, and you determine your small town romance series is twice as profitable. You use the tips laid out in this webinar to set up your deny list. You use our file to add to your deny list to avoid off Amazon spend for that series. Next, you optimize your 7 KDP keyword phrases to make sure that when you search each individual keyword phrase on Amazon, books that are just like your small town romance come up, because your small town romance is more profitable, so we want to double down on improving that. Then you spend a bit of time each week gathering the irrelevant targets that are not a good fit with your small town romance to use them as negative keywords, negative book targets, negative ASINs to put into your top spending campaigns so that they spend more efficiently. In a matter of weeks, the goal from doing all this work is you see a small increase in sales, and in a few months, you see some of your best sales days ever for book 1 and for the series as a whole, which inspires you to continue writing in that series. How does this grow book sales? Negative targeting allows you to more comfortably increase ad spend without worrying about getting junky, irrelevant targets. Spending efficiently on your most profitable series allows you to up your budgets and potentially in the future, not right now, but in the future, potentially even up your bids to get more traffic to your series starters. This can lead to more read-through to later books in your series, like book 2 and so on, and allow you to start seeing growth without having to rely unnecessarily on other forms of advertising. And when you combine better Amazon ads with low-cost promotion methods like your email list, you can start to increase your average monthly royalties year after year. And as you release more books, which can now launch higher in the series using your effective ad knowledge, using your growing email list, you find more readers and sell more copies. This has absolutely been the case for our $1 million success story, Jeffrey Mason, who has combined successful Amazon ads, great writing, and successful other marketing using channels like TikTok to be the #1 best-selling nonfiction book back in June. And right now he has 2 books that are in the top 20 of the best-selling nonfiction books for the last week. So one of the things Jeffrey did was negative target like crazy to make sure that only the most effective ad targets were used on his ads, and that has made a huge difference. Now, folks, we're coming to the end of the hour here, but we're still here. We're here for 2 hours, so stick around. Remember to stick around so that you have a chance to win those gift cards. Remember to stick around for the full Q&A session. Let's see. Terrell says the information for gathering on KDP is rather tedious. Is there a hack for this? If you are trying to gather negative targets or positive targets, it is a little bit cumbersome, but it makes a big difference over time. Sometimes we have to do things that take a little bit of extra time in order to make the future better. Philip says, I have found that the dashboard is, the ad dashboard is terrible. If I found that if the royalties it displays are greater than half the spend, I'm probably profitable. I would say you're probably right, Philip, even though that is a little arbitrary. We have authors who it's actually 5-1. It looks like they're only at 20% profitability or 20% of sales compared to their spend. So it looks terrible, and they're still making money hand over fist. Not all of them, but in some cases we have that. So Philip, I think it's good of you to doubt that tracking there because it's usually pretty bad. Vincent says, why is it that a book is getting royalties but not sales? Vincent, if your book is in Kindle Unlimited, then you might be seeing Kindle Unlimited borrows, which can lead to royalties. Let's see. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you, Philip, that finding a benchmark that works for you is what's going to make all the difference. Cassie says, brilliant info. Many thanks, Bryan. This will help me so much. That is awesome to hear, Cassie. Wonderful stuff. Folks, stick around. We've got more for you. But for now, let's go wrap it up, tie it up in a nice little holiday bow. When you narrow your focus, narrow to focus on your top selling book, narrow to capitalize on your best opportunity to grow your career, when you narrow to only focus on the on Amazon spend instead of the off Amazon spend, when you narrow to only focus on the most profitable targets and you negative target things that aren't a good fit, all this narrowing leads to improved results, leads to improved profitability. So these steps, combined with more releases in your most profitable genre, you might have to move some things out of your production calendar. That's just kind of the way it works. This can help you to finally scale up and sell more books. We have seen over 100 authors use this mix of tactics to go from under $100 a month to over $1,000 per month. So it is definitely possible for you to do the same. So to recap, you run the experiment. You run ads to your series starters and standalones, trying to get 100 clicks per book, not per search term, not per ad, 100 clicks over the course of all the ads for that book. Then you're going to test profit and conversion to see which of the books has the best profit. You're going to run the test to see what is the conversion rate like in these books. Then you can use the deny list. You can even do this before the experiment. Use the deny list to tell Amazon which off Amazon sites you want to avoid spending money on. Spoiler alert, might as well do it for all of them. Then you're going to research negative targets that will be irrelevant for your book to make sure that your spend is as effective as humanly possible. And lastly, you spend more budget on your new and improved ads in your most profitable series to continue to grow and improve your sales. So we all want to hit higher amounts than we have right now, right? We all want to grow our royalties. Now, this strategy is difficult because it doesn't have the shiny button. It does take time. It does take effort. And it requires a decent amount of patience. Because after all, you might run the experiments. You might find out none of the books you've currently written are profitable. You might find that they are, but you might find, nope, the books I wrote are not profitable. And you might say, well, that means, Bryan, Amazon ads don't work and I need to go rushing off and find something else. But I want you to slow your roll and think about authors who have stuck with the fundamentals of writing closer to what readers expect each time and then running ads to test profitability. I have seen them grow by leaps and bounds. I am coming from the experience of having talked to and worked with 30,000 plus authors. Ignore me at your own peril. I don't know. I'm just sitting here kind of saying the same thing I've been saying for years, which is that you could go on the hamster wheel for another couple of spins, or if you want to hit these numbers, do these things that I'm talking about. Many of the authors we help in our author ad agency who earn less or earn more than $6,000 per month, some of whom earn well above $20,000 per month, started out as ad school students who were at less than $100 a month. And then they listened, and then they grew. Doesn't mean you have to listen. It also means you don't have to grow, but we want to help you. So if some of them can get to $10,000 plus per month using writing to market and Amazon ads, then it is absolutely a possibility for any of you here today. It's not going to be easy, but the things that tell you they're going to be easy don't work. The things that tell you, oh, this is going to be easy, it's going to be a hack, it's going to be a magic push button, those don't work. But this system has worked for a lot of people, which is why I want to help you hit the $100, $1,000 or higher. So how do you sell more books? The magic question, right? There is no secret to selling more books. Most of the answers are already out there. The method I've shared today is absolutely not the only one available. There are many paths up the mountain, but it is one of the paths that has a really strong track record, a lot of footholds, handholds up the mountain. Whether you have the goals of reaching the heights of our author ad school alum like Jeffrey Mason, LJ Andrews, Nicole Rose, Trixie Silvertail, David Penny, or you just want to pay the electric bill with your royalties, and that would be nice, especially as we're coming into the winter, at least in the States. Paying attention to profitability when you make your advertising and publishing decisions could make all the difference. It's totally up to you. Go off and do what you want. Focus on what you want. Or you could focus on this. Either on your own or with us. We would love to help you. So I always try to make sure that you can leave any webinar I teach with enough info to take some positive action. I also totally get the need to save money with a do-it-yourself mindset, but there is just so much value in having a full-fledged support staff to answer questions 7 days a week. Very few courses do this because it costs them money and they want to be more profitable. I don't care as much about profit for myself. I care more about delivering good service, because that's why I'm still here after being in this community for 14 years. It's because I always value service over everything else. And we can't offer that level of support for free. That would be nice. But we do have it available all year round for our author ad school students. So each week, we give answers in our Facebook group. We also have a Slack workspace if you don't have Facebook. And we have 4 to 5 live Zoom sessions per week where you can actually talk to a person. It's like when you're on the phone. Representative. We have the representatives. So what's this all about? It's about learning something you didn't previously understand that can boost your book sales, When you have more profit coming in, you can pay for book-related and life-related expenses. As the royalties accumulate, you can buy freedom, get a personal assistant, pay your way out of the day job. And this all is meant to allow you to focus more on writing, focus more on getting your characters' words and or your message out into the world. So I'm not sure why you came here today, but I can tell you, if you become more consistent with these marketing strategies, it does sell more books. This is absolutely something you can do to level up your author career. You are capable. You are amazing. You are the prize. You are not the problem. You are the prize. We just want to help point you in the right direction. And in less time than you think,